setting new standards in podcast excellence. You have joined the WBT, fully focused on business and taxes. Here is your host, Michael Lodge.
And hello and welcome to the WBT. This is Mike Lodge. Glad you've joined me this morning. I want to speak from the heart today. I don't have a script. I don't have anything prepared because this comes from the heart. This morning I found that a good friend passed away. Zindzi Mandela had been the fighter for her father when he was put in prison by the South African government. She was a young girl. She was this individual who had the spirit of her father. So to me it's sad because I knew Zindzi from a professional experience, and then we became friends. Several years ago, Zindzi approached my office because she knew I was representing Manny Pacquiao, the boxer. And she wanted to put together a fight for her father's 92nd birthday in South Africa. And the fight that she wanted was between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. So she came to visit me, and we sat down with her entourage that was with her. And I said, you know what, I'll let you meet Manny Pacquiao. I'll arrange a meeting between you and Manny Pacquiao, and you tell your story of what you want to do. You see, Nelson Mandela had been a boxer. He loved boxing. He would get up early in the morning to watch the fights on television in South Africa. So she knew that since he loved it so much that to put on a fight for Nelson on his 92nd birthday was going to be a great thing. So we sat there and we talked about the goals and expectations of where she wanted to go. I then arranged the meeting, and we met at a press conference of a Manny Pacquiao fight. And we sat down with Manny, and we sat down with his boxing manager and also his promoter at that time. And she explained to them what she wanted to do. So then we began to work. She and I, we flew to Las Vegas. We hunkered down in the hotel for 1 full week. We worked together with the Mayweather people and the Pacquiao people. Pacquiao people, they wanted to go. They wanted that fight. So in the evening, she and I, we would sit, and she'd be drinking her cranberry juice cocktail, me a Diet Coke, and we would talk. And I asked her a lot of different questions, but one of the questions that I remember so well was, I asked her, Zindzi, when your dad came out of prison, how did it feel? And she says it was a great experience. You know, it was that experience where her father was being released and they were going to go back out and fight for the African people. But her father sat her down and said, Zindzi, we're not going to fight anymore. Now we have to sit down with the people that hated us the most and become friends. We had to work together. And that's exactly what Nelson did. Now, Zindzi was expecting that they were going to come out and she would be fighting again. She was going to fight and fight and fight. That was in her heart. She wanted to fight for the African people. And I can understand that. I can understand that with all my heart. When her father went into prison, they were fighting. When he left prison, she thought they were going to continue on the fight, but Nelson said, no, Zindzi, we now have to unify this nation. We have to bring people together. We need to sit down with the people who hated us the very most and make them into our friends. So that's exactly what Nelson did. And he became the president of South Africa. And since he told me, she said, at the time I did not want that. I disagreed with my father. I wanted to continue fighting, but I listened to my dad. And he was right. Zindzi was an individual that you could sit down with and talk about anything. She loved my dog Skippy. And every time she would talk to me, she would always, the first question was, how's Skippy? Zindzi was a great woman. Every time I sat down with her, I always learned something new. I was always inspired. Then she went on and she became the ambassador to Denmark for South Africa. And she did a great job in that. She had so much life ahead of her. I honestly think that at some point in time she could have been president of South Africa. She had been through so much. She had listened so very carefully to the voices of South Africa. She had listened to the voices of the leadership in South Africa. And she formed her own opinions in her own direction. She was her father's daughter. Her father was in her heart every single day that she lived. Every word that he had said to her was in her heart and in her mind, and she pondered them before she made decisions. It's very seldom that you get to meet and be friends with someone with such a story that inspires. The last time I saw her, we were at the premiere of her movie, Long Walk to Freedom. Story of her father, story about her. Great movie. If you haven't seen that movie, go out and see it. Find it somewhere. And I remember that so very carefully because that was produced and the story was so well written that you could literally live the experience through the movie. I will miss her. She was my friend. And throughout the years, we've always stayed in contact. We've always sent notes back and forth to each other. But when you truly get a friend like Zindzi, you really do have a friend. Because she will always find out what's happening with you. And I appreciated that throughout the years that we were and have been friends. I will miss her. You know when you lose a friend, it tugs at your heart, right? But then you think about all the things that friend has done through their life and the lives that they have touched and how that individual touched your life. You say, all that you can say is, God, thank you for allowing Zindzi to be my friend. I truly appreciate it. So today, we say goodbye to Zindzi. She's joining her father Nelson and her mom Winnie, and they will be together. And they can look down and say, you know what, now we can rest. We did our part to make South Africa a great nation. There's still work to be done, and I'm sure that their spirits are going to come down and touch some of you leaders in South Africa. They will come down. They will be speaking to you. You better listen. So we say goodbye, Zindzi. Love you. You're in my heart. My prayers are for your family and for the nation of South Africa as you move forward with one less Mandela, but that they're in spirit with you. If you have any questions or comments, send me a text at 818-252-5682. Again, that's 818-252-5682. We can talk. We can laugh. Tell me your stories. If you know Zindzi and you have some stories, tell me about it. I want to hear. Everybody, go out today and do great things, because that's what Zindzi would have done. Talk with you soon.
Thank you for listening to the WBT with Michael Lodge. Join us again tomorrow as we explore more about business and taxes. Follow us on iHeartRadio and go to our podcast website at www.wbtpod.com and listen to all of our podcasts and read our blogs.
This podcast has been produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on content.